What's up, guys? What's up, otakus, guys and gals? um, Now we're back. Unfortunately, it's not a haul video today. Uh, it's just our weekly check-in, and I dropped some big news in my last sort of mail call video, and I made a big announcement. I'm going to just reiterate and kind of lay out plans for the summer. So I was able to get a part-time job for the summer, and I start on the 22nd, which is a Saturday. So yeah, I mean, it's actually, in terms of the pay, it's not so bad. And I'm not working terribly long. I'm not working terribly early. Working most of the day though, so I'm not gonna be able to like do much on the weekends. But it's okay because we're gonna be making money, and all the money. I told my wife, like, initially what I wanted to do was like just set aside $1,000 for me to use for the comic budget, and then give the rest to my family. Well, I've inversed it. Basically, gonna give, save about 1,000, you know, and reserve the rest for comic books. And by my calculations, it should be somewhere around $2,000. Assuming we work all of July, August, and kind of into September. We should have a good chunk of money coming in. Yeah, right? Should be a good chunk of money coming in. So it's going to be another fun summer. If you guys watched what I did last summer, I kind of had the same setup last summer where we were devoting the entire budget to comic books. It's a little different this year. I am, I'm going to have to make sure I set aside $1,000. I mean, get paid weekly, so we're going to be trying to do as much hunting outside of my work hours as I can. But we got to be focused as well. I don't want to do too much, spend too much on my weekly hauls. So I'm trying to reserve the weekly hauls to like a budget of around $20. And we're not going to, so when I go, basically, I'll take $20 cash with me to my weekly sort of comic place. And we may spend that 20 on one book or a series of books, but we're really going to be like, okay, do we need to pick this up? It has to kind of fall in the, I need this, or I'm not going to, because normally I just would pick up value. I'd be like, oh, this is a book I might be able to flip or sell, you pick it up for 50 cents, maybe sell it for $5 later down the road. I had that mentality of picking stuff up. But for this summer, no, it's quite literally has to be something that's on my list. That's like I'm looking for, actively searching for. So that doesn't exclude actually like bargain bins, because a lot of what I'm looking for exists in the bargain bins. They're bargain bin books, especially some of the Fantastic Four Byrne run, a lot of the Action Comics from the Byrne Action Comics and Superman run, a a lot of the Jim Lee, modern comic books that we still don't have in the collection. Even a lot of the older ones. There's a couple older ones I don't have either. So there's quite a lot to be found, which is why we're doing the $20 per week. We're giving us the latitude to find what we're looking for, but also not spending too much to where we won't have money saved up for Grit City. So that's the plan. It's like $20 per week is my allotted sort of non-Grit City comic budget, and everything else will go to the savings. And so by summer's end, we should have a good chunk of coin. And that doesn't mean I won't dip into the savings if I see a big book that's on our list and I want to pick it up. I will. And we have, I think I mentioned the first book I'm going to get is at Disney City Comic Books right now. It's there waiting for me. I've been waiting over almost a year to get that book since it came in our radar. So, it's like Ethan knows I want it, and I'm just hoping it's remains there. But that's the first book we're going to get with our first paycheck. So I'm going to be down the whole $200 pretty much on a big book. So that's that. And yeah, it should be a fun summer. So stay tuned. It's going to get pretty crazy. I think my first paycheck is going to come the first week of July. So that's when the madness will start. You probably aren't going to see all videos between now and my first paycheck. Once we get the first paycheck, we'll cash it. I may just head straight to, Destiny City Comics on the day I get the paycheck, or just cash it and take the cash right to Destiny City, pick up the books, and we'll reveal the haul right there and then. So that'll probably be, in all likelihood, my first haul video of the summer, officially of the summer, summer haul. So I'm just going to call it, because last year we said summer of 2023, it's the summer of 2024, so we're going to call it the 24 summer haul. And it's going to be glorious. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be fabulous. Okay. I will probably do another video. I haven't really, I have a loose idea, and I mentioned it in the previous video as well. I have a loose idea of what I want to get. We're targeting the Batman Joker, Neil Adams Joker cover. We're targeting Transformers 1, G.I. Joe #1. We're also targeting, I'm hoping to get Wolverine, the Claremont series, Wolverine #1. I'm hoping to get that one this summer as well. We obviously want to pick up the first Mr. Sinister. That'll be on the list. And I already can get the first Sinister in a newsstand, but it's not quite, it's like between middle and high grade. It's kind of like I can get it, and I like the price. So that may be just a pickup we do. I mean, we'll have to spend the weekly budget, all of it, on that one book, but we'll see. It's just there's just a lot of stuff to get, and of course I can always try to get those books in one meaningful haul during Grit City Comic Con, because Grit City will definitely have. I don't know if they'll have the uh, the Neil Adams Joker cover, but they'll definitely have books like the first Mr. Sinister. They'll have, you know, some of those like more, I guess, modern keys. They'll have them. If you look, they'll have it. And I'll probably be able to get it for a decent price. I'm also open to getting the ASM 300. I think ASM 300's fallen quite quite a bit. So I'm just thinking there's someone locally here who might have it. If I can get that for around $300, decent grade, obviously it's not going to be high grade, but somewhere in the very fine range for 300, I think would be great. I think it's doable. Book's fallen off quite a bit, and yeah, that's kind of where we are. All right. So this video is really focused on the first half of this year and what we picked up. I kind of put out like a top, I put out a short of the top books I picked up this year, but that video didn't really wasn't able to really capture the essence of like all my pickups. So I'm doing sort of a more detailed, it's not in any particular order, although the last 5 books I think I'm going to speak to in terms of the top books we were able to pick up. And we'll get into at least the top 5. Everything else is sort of in random order and just kind of introduce things as they come. Before we get started though, right after this video, I'm not going to spend too much on the stream tonight because I want to get to the second part of the last season of Picard. And I've got to say I really enjoyed the first, I think, 6 episodes of this series. It's been great. Now, hopefully it ends strong. It right now we're kind of at the part where they're kind of unraveling the mystery of the weapon that was taken from this facility, and they figure out it's Jean-Luc Picard, like I think a clone of him, genetic clone of him, was stolen, which I kind of have I think I have a good idea of why they took him, because they're taking his tactical kind of knowledge of space battles and just reuniting with the Borg. I think that's kind of what the plan is, right? To insert that Borg, the Jean-Luc Picard Borg identity into this vessel, of the clone vessel, and use the Borg as like. So I think that right now the changelings, they're somehow working with the Borg, or they're partnering with the Borg in a way that's going to try to end humanity. And I think the changelings are going to somehow, coexist with the Borg. This is my theory. I'm obviously going to watch it, but I think that's kind of where my head is at in terms of what I think is going to happen. But it should be a very good. That scene with Ensign Rowe, man, that was just, that hit all the feels of the nostalgia of the first, because she came on, just for like I think a season or 2. But I loved her character. I loved how they, kind of wrote her off the show. It was really good. And then, obviously in this series, it kind of touched upon that past relationship, and yeah, it's a real I want to say it's a love letter to fans of TNG. First appearance of TNG, by the way. Love this book as well. Um, you know, it's just a love letter to the TNG fans. So they bring back everybody. Well, not everybody. They don't bring back certain characters, um, but Geordie's there, Beverly Crusher's there, Deanna, Will Riker, Jean-Luc Picard, Worf, and of course Data. They bring back an aged Data, which is which is really cool. Because the first season of Picard, they kind of put these like prosthetics to make Data seem younger, and it just looked weird. And so I think it's just better that they decided to age him and use Brent Spiner as Data. It's like that was just a good call. But yeah, it's just this like, let's just stroll down memory lane and go on one more adventure, and then peace out kind of series. So I'm really, really loving it. It's been great. So after this video, we're gonna start watching that and watch the season finale from 7 through the season finale. All right, so these books are in no particular order. We're just gonna kind of go through them, and I'm gonna try to remember what I paid for all of these books. Try to remember. So many books, I'm probably gonna represent what I picked up for some of them. We'll start here with, there's a book I forgot. Okay, I forgot a book. We'll start with that one. I'll just mention it. We picked up Classic X-Men. I think it was 30, I want to say it was 37 or 38. Oh, no. Maybe it was, it's going to bug me now. Oh, I don't have my phone either. All right, well, it's essentially the reprint of Uncanny X-Men 133. I think it's Classic X-Men. I want to say it's 38. I think it's 38. The reason we wanted, so going into 2024, that was really one of the top books on my list. I had searched everywhere, Grid City last year, not many, Classic X-Men's. I've been searching dollar bins here and there and just searching all over the place for it. And we finally found it in the quarter bin at Redmond Half Price Books. So that was just like, and it was such a clean copy too. It was like, wasn't like, this, I don't think the sticker was on the book. It was on the bag of the book, and we didn't have to remove anything. It was just like perfectly preserved. And we picked that up. That was like the Unmyung book of the year. And so that will always be like a very memorable book. But once we got it, it wasn't like technically, I mean, it's still one of the best pickups, and I didn't add it to this list, but it's should be on this list. So we're mentioning that. It is part of this thing. I just don't have the book with me. It's neglected to get it out. That's all it is. But we'll start right here. We picked up this one recently. And it's just a great cover, to be honest. It's like a black cover, Lee Weeks Gambit here. Gambit #1. First solo series. The X-Men were all getting their solo series titles during the 90s. And I never really read this one. But this was kind of around the time Rogue got her own, Bishop got his own, and then Gambit gets his own as well. As well as Sabretooth, right? Sabretooth got his own. Cable got his own little miniseries, then regular series. So all kinds of kind of cool. Actually, Cable got his regular ongoing series, not a miniseries. This is a miniseries. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, just a great cover there. He's got these reflective gold cards he's thrown out. Everything's gold foil on this black cover here. Very 90s-esque kind of cover. A lot of flash, a lot of, just kind of shiny, foily goodness there. Staying in the 90s, this was a great pickup. We got this for $1, which was great. Over at it's a pretty, it's like a reader's copy, I'd say. There's some creasing on it. The spine's kind of beat up, but it's a newsstand amalgam Legends of the Dark Claw. This is not the first appearance, but the first series between DC and Marvel amalgam character, Wolverine. It's a Wolverine Batman mashup, which I think it's just a cool concept, right? Even just the name Dark Claw, that's just a cool character, I think. But yeah, obviously as a Batman and Wolverine fan, something I just would want in my collection. This is memorable because now it's got issues. It's got that it was exposed to humidity and then it kind of dried out, and you got this rippling in the book, which you're not going to really, you can see it right there. You see it right there. But this is pressable. And, when we do get around to pressing it, it's going to look fabulous. It's going to be a high-grade book because, the spine is really, there's not much wrong there with the spine. But yeah, this is just a great cover here. Nice Elektra cover, Frank Miller. This is a key. This is where Elektra gets resurrected. So it's a double-sized issue, right? We picked this up for 33 cents. 33 cents for this. And obviously it's not in good shape, but it's it's pressable. All the issues with this book are just the pressable issues. So just a great pickup for 33 cents. Can't beat that. Here's another pickup for 50 cents. This was on our most recent haul at No Geek. Jim Lee did a series of, Green Lantern covers when he was just getting going at DC. And I think this is the best cover of the lot. It's all the lanterns here, including, Kyle Reiner. And you just got this great cover by Jim Lee of all the lanterns kind of flying out. Just a really, I kind of had this book on my list for quite some time. We'd never run across it, but that's a great thing about No Geek Comics. Eventually you get around to refreshing stuff, and if you're lucky, you can find stuff like this in the 50-cent bins. And so just really happy with that pickup. That was kind of one of those oh yeah moments when we dug that out of the 50-cent bin. This was half a cover, which I gotta check a look at the back. I think this was like it's like a $5 book, so I think we picked it up for $2.50. It's a pretty worn copy. Yeah, it's a $4.95 book, so picked it up for under $2.50 at half price books, and that's Kingdom Come #1. This is kind of a hot book right now because I think Alex Ross is putting out a documentary on the development of this book. And I've been seeing a lot of members kind of like wanting to pick it up. But this one just came, it was an Young book. It was sitting there. I'm not going to leave this book for half a cover, even if it is. And it's not in that rough shape. It's just got, it's been read. But the spine is still intact. The corners are just kind of a little rough around the edges. No creasing or anything. It's still a pretty decent grade book. So, and the cover is just incredible. I mean, this is one of the best cover of the entire series. You got Wonder Woman and Superman there. So, absolutely fabulous pickup. Some of these next ones are some of the bigger pickups. We picked up this Uncanny X-Men 207. This was a $2 pickup from Half Price Books. Redmond, they don't, on older comics, things that are, if you calculate like half a cover and it's under $2, they'll charge you $2. Just a sort of a flat rate on comic books. It basically is saying like most of the older comic books are going to be, unless they get priced out, and they price them out too, are going to be $2. And I mean, this is a iconic cover here by John Romita Jr. It's good VF copy, newsstand, but for $2, I'll do that. I will do that. This one, I'm having a tough time remembering what I paid for this. I think I paid like $5 for this one, $4 or $5 for this one. It wasn't crazy. It was actually, really reasonable. Another Frank Miller Daredevil cover. We've got Daredevil 188 and just another iconic Black Widow cover here. That is Frank Miller goodness right there. Yeah, just the shadows and oh man, it's just beautiful. We get the webbing as well. The webbing is brilliant. So, yeah, I think again I paid $4 for this really high grade newsstand copy. So, shout out to Ethan, always hooking me up with cheap, good comic books. This one we picked up at Sten Brothers for $5, and I remember this was the only book we picked up at Sten Brothers on that visit. And it's just a book I've been wanting. And this is a comic book I read when it first came out, and that is the Brood, Wolverine turning into the Brood here. Uncanny 234. That's just a cover by right there, iconic cover right there. Mark Silvestri, goodness. And again, we paid $5 for this one at Sten Brothers. It's a VF Plus copy, I'd say. VF Plus for newsstand. Don't mind. I think $5 is, well worth that money. This one we picked up for half a cover. It was $2.50. I believe I picked it up from Redmond. But we picked up first print Strange Academy #1. It's $100 book, got for half a cover. So you can find, again, if you know what you're looking for and it gets past sort of the comic gatekeepers at the half price book who price the books, you know, if they feel like it's worth something, they'll actually look it up and then price it half of whatever that book value is. And they do consider condition and all that. So they've got somebody actively kind of pricing out comic books, whether comic books need to be priced out or just go out. And fortunately, whoever's looking at it just didn't understand the significance of this book and let this one go out, which is lucky for me. I mean, you know, it's like it's a big first issue book, so pick that one up for $250. That was just that's an example of like the value we got this summer, or this year, I should say. Here's another. These are two other great pickups I picked up this year. We got Superman 249, and we got Superman 234. This one was a $5 pickup, and I think this one was a $4 pickup. So that was really nice. Both Neil Adams covers. I just picked this up from Sten Brothers along with this one. Picked this one up for $5 as well. It's a real sort of ratty, beat up. I put the grade at about a 2.0. Beat up copy of Superboy 104. That's just a great Silver Age cover right there. The kid who KO'd Superboy. Dude, everybody's wearing these like antiquated suits, and you know, this is what, 1960, I want to say 63. The guy in the black, actually, you know, Lana's dad actually looks pretty dapper right there with the yellow black tie and black suit, the brown loafers. I mean, that's high fashion right there. That's like GQ stuff. All right, moving right along. This was a great find, $5. You can't go wrong with a Capullo signed Spawn book for $5. This was signed by Capullo in '96. And this is actually, I think, Capullo's second work on Spawn. So, second cover appearance and second subsequent internal work on Spawn. 16 was his first work on Spawn. So that, I mean, we looked for that one signed as well, but it wasn't there. They had a bunch of signed Capullo Spawn books. But so I was looking through, and they didn't have 16, but they had 17. So we got 17. I think this is the better cover, to be honest. And it's got rats. Shout out to Fanboy and Neil and Robin. It's got a plethora of rats. This would have won the rat cover. Yeah. And this next book is the next two are just great. This one's I just love this Jim Lee Wonder Woman cover. I think this is probably his best Wonder Woman cover. He's got a lot of great Wonder Woman covers. Actually, I won't say best, but it's up there. It's up there. It's Diana just looking badass. It's fire. It's Diana on fire, right? Basically. And then we got Jim Lee's first published work of Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman 175. This is his first work on Wonder Woman. First cover, first art on Wonder Woman. And it's a great cover, man. Just she destroys Superman, and that is just so badass. And this is another one that was on our list for a very, very long time, and it's always, especially with some of the Jim Lee books. I know there have been times when I have money, and there's a Jim Lee book I want, I'll just go out and get it. I'll buy it, look for it, try to snipe it in an auction, or just if the price is right, get it for as cheap and as good condition as it can. But for the most part, because I have a long Jim Lee list, it's a slow grind to pick up a book here, pick up a book there, but it's a slow grind, but it's kind of why it sustains us. It's basically what's fueling my interest in this hobby, to just get through and pick up as many of those books as I can. This one, again, because of its significance, we had thought about picking up off eBay multiple times, but I just kind of stayed the course and decided, no, this book comes in, it's got it, because it's going to be through a bargain bin. We're going to find this in a bargain bin. So I said, well, we don't want to pay more than $2 for it, or around $2, maybe $3 if it's really high grade. But we're going to try to pick it up, pick it up in the wild, pick it up on a hunt. And, lo and behold, Ethan at Destiny City Comics had this sitting in his dollar bins. So, it's in rough shape. It's a VF copy, but man, checked off the list. All right, so I have 3 copies, or I had 2 copies of this previously, both high grade copies, by the way. And when I ran into this book, this was being sold for $5. And I was like, dude, how is this so cheap? And I just bought it. I didn't really examine the book. I just got it because it was a newsstand copy of Batman 612. That is an iconic cover right there. And I couldn't believe it because it was like a high grade, and I'm just like, man. But then we got it. We kind of took out the book and looked at it, and there is a small tear here at the top. You can see it right there. So that kind of deflated the excitement around this book, but I'm still glad I picked it up because this is a very difficult book to find in the newsstand version. And it's still, to me, even with that, it presents high grade. So at the end of the day, that's not I'm going to get this slabbed or anything. It's just going to be in my collection as my newsstand copy of Batman 612. So paid $5 for this one. Really, even at that price, given that little issue, is still, for me, a great pickup. We picked this one up for, this was, I think, I'll say a $10 book. Somewhere around there. I think it was either $8 or $11. But it's a double-signed book. It's signed by, I think, Dave Norton or Dan Norton and Scott Clark, who's a great artist at Image. I mean, they're both great artists. And this is interesting because Ryan Odegawa, who worked at Homage Studios, Wildstorm, said this was their campus. If you look in the backdrop there, you see um, this was sort of the coastal location of Homage Studios. These are where these guys worked. So they were, this is a Jim Lee cover. Jim Lee was basically having the Gen 13 crew, and who else is in here? The Wetworks crew, Gen 13 crew, hanging out at the Homage Studios headquarters. And I was texting Ryan earlier today. I let him know I couldn't go down to San Diego. Just was like, man, I'd love to go and join you and just hang out with you. But, all these budgetary constraints, I'm not going to have enough money to make it in time for San Diego. I mean, I could always just draw from my regular funds, save, and then do that. But San Diego is a big lift. I mean, I got to get airfare, got to get a hotel for however many days we're going to be there, and, pay for all the meals as well. So I just felt like, yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll have more bandwidth next year. But right now, time, scheduling, all that, it's just too soon. San Diego's 3 weeks out. So to do all the planning and rush down there and not have any money to spend on comic books either would be just kind of horrible. So I explained the situation to Ryan. He was cool. Well, we are going to do it. I'm going to hang out with my bro down. If he comes up here, we'll hang out here. But one of these days, one of us is going to go down there or come up here and we'll hang out. All right, Ryan. All right. But yeah, this is a book Ryan actually worked on. So I've been meaning to get this book signed by him as well. And I want him to sign the back cover. I know all the signatures are here in the front cover, but I actually want Jim Lee and Ryan Odegawa to sign the back cover at some point. The back is where it's at. All right. Staying on the Wildcats front, we've got the first preview of the Wildcats in Malibu Sun 15. This book is in very rough shape. As you can tell, there's some big dents there. A little bit of spine break, but you can see a lot of issues. But I think at the end of the day, when we press this book, it will actually come back, because it's not, those dents don't break color all that much. So when you actually press this out, it will, I suspect it'll be in the VF plus VF range. Right now it's in the fine range for sure, but it'll elevate to the VF range, because I think, again, look at the back. The back is absolutely very clean. It presents as mint already. So again, just fix up this front red cover, and we've got a pretty high grade copy of Malibu Sun 15, the first preview of the Wildcats. Oof, careful. Don't want to do that. All right. But yeah, this was a real great pickup. I think we picked this up for something like $12 with tax, shipping, and everything. So this was just a fantastic book. Maybe $15 with everything, but I remember getting it for $12. So for me, that was very cheap. Again, given the condition it's in, I think that was a very, very good pickup. This one, another great pickup. It's been sitting in the lockbox at Redmond for quite some time, and when this thing initially debuted in the lockbox, it was being sold for $50. And we looked at the condition and was like, man, it's almost worth getting for $50 because it's a clean copy. Very high grade. I'd say it's a 9.4. But we didn't get it because we didn't have $40, and we're just like, I just kept looking at. I just kept because I check all the books because they normally, if it's been sitting there a long time, they'll discount it. And this book went from 50, I think, to 30, and then to 15. And at 15, I was like, yeah, we got to pick it up. So we picked up Hulk #1, first cover appearance of the Red Hulk, for $15. And this is a high grade beauty, man. It's just flawless looking copy right here. Yeah. So high grade. This was just for $15, a great pickup. I even thought about slabbing this one, and maybe selling it. It's not a 9.8 copy, but I mean, the hope is it'll come back a 9.6, and it should definitely come back a 9.4 for sure. All right. This one was a cool pickup. This one we picked up for $1.25 at the Bellevue Half Price Books. Bellevue actually prices stuff out half a cover. So this was a great pickup. It's Epic Illustrated. This is the last galactic story by John Byrne. This is the first issue in this mini series run. They ended this Epic's run and they never finished the story. So this is an unfinished sort of story by Byrne, where Byrne actually, he kills off Galactus. Well, Galactus sacrifices himself as he generates a new Big Bang and restarts the universe, but ultimately saves the universe by destroying it and using all the cosmic energy to create new life, new planets, and all that. So, I don't know if that's necessarily noble. Who's to say? The assumption is, if everything's random, does the Earth come about again? Anyway, it's just that the story never got finished, so we just don't know how to approach some situation like that. But this is just a real key issue because it again delves into this I think she's like a Silver Surfer type guardian, and then again Galactus. It's like some kind of mystery. You have to read it, but it sounds fascinating. This was part of a 3-book signed lot. So we got a John Byrne signed book, which it's not in here. It's also one of my top pickups. Let me go get that book, actually. That is a book I want to. So yeah, I'm going to show off this one first because I think this Byrne book is actually one of my best pickups of this year. This is Deathmate 1, or Black, I should say. And it's a Jim Lee, Mark Silvestri cover. And we have the certificate. And the certificate at the time, Jim Lee and Mark Silvestri going around signing the book. So it was either going to be one or both of them. They're both at the event. You get both signatures. One of them's at the event. They were still handing these certificates out. But yeah, this Death Make Black was signed by Jim Lee and or Mark Silvestri. So this one was signed by Mark in gold. You see the gold signature right there. So we're gonna complete or complement the certificate by getting Jim Lee's signature at some point. So yeah, Jim Lee's signature will reside somewhere around here. I don't know if it's going to be at the next signing, but it's going to be at an eventual signing. We got so many books we want to get signed. I don't think this one's going to make the cut for the next signing. The next signing, we already have kind of an idea what we want to get signed. And a lot of them are already signed, the kind of signed books like this, where we want to get multiple signatures on. So yeah, I'll do a separate video on that when the day comes. So along with that, we got 3 books. Again, the 3 signed comic book lot cost me $25. Yeah, we paid $25 for it. And it came with 3 books. The Death Make Black was the first book. The third book is this, it's called, what is it called? It's The Yellow Sun, Dawn of the Yellow Sun or something like that, which is a obscure 90s like graphic novel one shot. And that also was signed by Carrie Gamble, who did the interior artwork of that comic book. And so that's the third book. But these 2 books are what prompted me to pay the $25. I mean, I probably would have paid close to $20 for this one, which is a signed copy of Legends #4. Now, there are a lot of John Byrne books that are, if you're going to get a signature, there are just a gajillion ones you could probably get. For some reason, when I ran across this signed book with the burning carcasses here, I just thought, man, that's great. That's a great signature placement. Get it, like John Byrne, Legends John Byrne. It just spoke to me. That kind of looks like a redheaded John Byrne. Like if John Byrne were to shave and I guess, dye his hair red or whatever, that's kind of what I would imagine John to look like. But anyway, it's just it's a freaking great cover, first off. It's a Legends cover. And the signature, man, just look at that signature. That's just incredible. So yeah, this is like, we always wanted to get like a John Byrne kind of Superman cover signed. And this was a pretty good, it's a pretty good book to have. Hopefully that's a 101. Like Byrne has a lot of books that he signed, but something tells me that someone's probably got #4 signed. At least Legends #1 probably has some signatures by him, but something worth looking into with the census count. This was just a freak find in the quarter bin. There's a Spanish edition of Daredevil, another great Frank Miller cover. think this was, I don't remember the number, but anyways, classic Frank Miller there. I like just because like the normal Daredevil cover has kind of like more busy stuff here in the corner with the pricing and everything. This one's got that clean pricing down here, and I don't know, looks great. Now I got the sticker off and I kind of rubbed off the residue from the sticker, and it just created this really unsightly ink rub or ink fading there on the red. So that was just a little disappointing, but still a great book for 25 cents. I'm not going to complain. All right, now we're going to get into my sort of top 5 pickups for the year. And we're going to start with a recent trade pickup. I think, again, thinking Comics Limited. Go check him out he's got a YouTube channel as well as an Instagram. And boy, were we able to pick up a great book from him in a trade. He just put out his trade video, so go and see what I sent him. Again, Comics_Limited. Travis is down over. He lives in Washington State. I'm not going to reveal his location, but he's not too far. He's far from where I live, but not like far. He's within the state. He's within driving distance. And we picked up this really high grade. I put it at a 8.5 copy of Superman versus The Amazing Spider-Man. Iconic Ross Andru artwork here. I think Jerry Conway is the writer of this crossover event. This is the first DC and Marvel collaboration. I don't want to say it's the first, but it's I think the first superhero crossover. And yeah, Spider-Man's not winning this battle. I don't think it's not even close. I know Spider-Man's super strong and all that, but he's not as strong as Superman. And Superman could just literally just burn him to a crisp. You have Spider Barbecue, or could just drag him up into outer space at supersonic speed and leave him in space without air, and that would be that. So it's just not even a contest. But take the two most popular characters at the time and put them head to head. Gotta sell some books. All right, so that was a great trade pickup. Love that book. It's kind of the centerpiece of my backdrop. Moving right along, we picked up this was another book sitting in the lockbox at Redmond, and this one arrived. It's not one I've been watching. It was like a new arrival, and at first I didn't pick it up. I just kind of left it there, but it was gnawing at me. It was like, why'd you leave it there? Someone's gonna pick it up. You're gonna lose it. So I went back the very next day. And we picked it up. And what was fortunate was I didn't have, a couple days prior, I didn't have any money. I was in the minus. I was in debt. And then I was able to sell some books, get out of debt, and actually have a good surplus. So when we went into Half Price Books, I was like, I can pick up this book. And after a lot of just kind of thinking about whether I should spend the money on this or not, I finally landed on yes, you're not going to be able to pick up this book for $25 probably ever again. So, well, I don't want to say ever again, but we could probably pick it up, but not for $25. So we went ahead and pulled the trigger. Now it is a book with issues. There's a spine split. The Marvel stamp in the back is cut out, so it's not like a complete book, but it presents really beautifully. I mean, it's got a couple corner creases there, but outside of that, its spine is relatively decent. No major creasing. Everything is just kind of that little corner crease in the upper right is really the sort of the worst of it. It's just a classic, iconic cover. I just wanted to, because I'm not a big Jack Kirby fan, but I do love the Fantastic Four, and this is, I've never been like focused on like early issues of the Fantastic Four because they're just so out of my price range for the most part. This book is kind of there in terms of out of my price range, but for $25, that's within my price range. So I'm just really happy with this pickup. This is not a book I would normally be able to pick up, I should say. But we hadn't necessarily been targeting. But I mean, if I could pick up this era Fantastic Four for $25, no matter what the issue was, as long as it's around, like a VG defined copy, I mean, I would do it. All right. This next book, I told you we wanted a Superman Byrne book, a signed Superman book by Byrne. I've got signed Superman books by Jim Lee. I've got signed Superman books by, it's Carl Kessel. I've got a signed Superman book by Neil Adams. It's Dan Jurgens. I think that's it. And now I got one by John Byrne. This is just John has a great run on Action comic books, a lot of great covers, a lot of great interior work as well. But this one, I think, is my favorite on John Byrne Action Comics cover. And it's just like a kind of like a throwback to like the Silver Age, Golden Age, Silver Age, where Lana and Lois are always kind of competing for here. They're actually just like kind of get into a fist fight. Superman separating them, and you got this great note. I guarantee that this scene does not appear in this issue. Signed John Byrne. Well, we got double signed by John. Just love this book. This is just I just love this book. So it's going back up on that wall soon. This one, so I picked up this one for like $24 at the time. The guy refunded me $2 because it was not near mint. It's a high grade copy, but it's got issues. It's a VF copy at best. So he knocked another $2 off. So it was like $22 we got the book for. With shipping and tax and everything, it ended up being like, I think $27 or somewhere around there. So yeah, not a bad probably $29. Not a bad pickup, $29. Good signed book. And then we got this one for, it was really crazy how big of a bargain we got this book for. I was able to talk the guy down to, I think, $31 for this book. Yeah, 31. I think 30 or 31, but got it. Detective Comics, $3.70, and this one is Neil Adams' first published artwork on Batman. He inks Carmine Infantino here. It's the inker, and not too much. You don't get a sense that that's a Neil Adams Batman. This is more like Infantino-esque. This guy here, the guy hitting him is, and the building in the back, all this other, everything outside of the dynamic duo characters just screams Neil Adams. So you definitely get a sense of his presence here in the book, and of course the signed copy. Really decent grade on this one too. Yeah, it's not a beat up copy at all. It's definitely mid-grade. I think I had this at like a 6.0 copy. It just looks fabulous. So this is another book I'd love to get slabbed, but we'll see. All right, and the number one book. I'll just get two of the books. I want to pull them all out. So, as you guys know, I've kind of been picking up 90s. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. In the 90s, when this book became the best-selling comic book of all time, Jim Lee was actively signing this book, as like a promotion to boost sales and also just boost his presence in the industry. A lot of the Image guys were just signing books, and Jim, whenever he signed books, he would add this kind of COA card in the back, so it kind of dates the book. This was like right around when this book came out, he was doing it. So you're going to see a lot of these 90s Jim Lee signatures, which is very different from his current signature, which let me see. I have one up there. You can't see it though. All right, I'm not going to go dig for a Jim Lee signature book, but his modern signature is just one motion. It's not like one and then lift and then two motions. It's one fluid motion where he does Jim Lee all in one fell swoop. This one, he actually has to pick up the pen. It's more time consuming. It's like Jim Lee, not one motion. It's like technically two, a lift, like a sign, lift, and then another sign, which is kind of cool. It's like, it dates, the signature is dated. He doesn't do these 90 signatures anymore. I don't know if he still has the muscle memory for the 90 signature. I'm sure he could, but once you like make an active decision, okay, this is no longer my signature, and you start doing a new signature, I don't know if you can go back to the old signature. Maybe some people can. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's easier than I'm making it out to be. But for me, like, my signature is my signature. I can't actively like force myself to do another type of signature. But Anyway, I'm kind of rambling right now, but we have three of the four connecting covers in the 90 signature. This is a great one here with Stan Lee's signature and Jim Lee's signature. COA. So my whole goal was to have all four in the 90 signatures. We had three of them. We're picking them up individually and just looking for when they pop up on eBay or pop up. There's a lot of them out there. You can probably go get the whole set if you pay a pretty penny. But we're just trying to pick it up on the cheap at our price. I think I averaged kind of around $40 on all these signature pickups. This one was insanely cheap. I think we got this for like $12. It was under 20. And we got 4 signatures, quadruple sign. We got Bob Harris, Scott Williams, Chris Claremont, and there's Jim Lee's 90 signature on the A cover. So needless to say, I mean, this was like the biggest pickup this year, and $12. I mean, it's just freaking unheard of for Jim Lee signature. I don't know why the lady had it so cheap, but I'm not going to complain. I didn't even try to haggle her down. I just bought it, and now it's in my collection. So, yeah, it's just two of the 4 connecting covers in the 90s signature. So that was a big, I mean, this is probably the centerpiece of my collection. Aaron from Josh's Comic Books, he's doing a big boy comic book week. And I don't ever feel like there's nothing in my collection that I would feel warrants sort of big boy book status. I just don't think I have that kind of collection. It's like I pick up a lot of stuff on the cheap. If we do spend, it's maybe a couple $100 on something we really want. Not a couple hundred, but just like maybe 100 or so on something we really want. Got a lot of that good stuff in my collection, don't get me wrong, but no, they're throwing up like, 10K plus books. I don't have anything like that in my collection. But I think one area where I think in terms of big boy books is this, because everybody has X-Men 1 in their collection, but how many people have 90 signature, including Stan Lee's, including Chris Claremont's, including everybody worked on the book in terms of the connecting covers. Again, the 90s Jim Lee signatures across the board on the connected covers. You probably it's a select few that have it. It's a select few that have it, and if you're lucky enough to have that when it happened or pick it up, that's a big piece in your collection. So yeah, kudos to those who have what I have, but the 90 signatures from the highest selling comic book of all time by the legend, Mr. Jim Lee. All right. And with that, we're going to end this. Thanks for hanging out with me. Again, this is sort of just a look back on everything we picked up in the first half. Second half kicks off in July. We got money coming in. It's going to be a fun summer. Hang on to your seats. Stick around, keep watching me join. I'm going to probably do this, every chance I get in terms of the haul stuff. So you'll just see me popping on around this time, going over my books. And everything we pick up, I'm going to share with you right there and then. So you'll see small hauls to large hauls and everything in between. So look forward to that. All right. Peace out. We'll see you later.